And what we find is that God is still sovereign in it all. We see even in this instance where Satan goes before God, God still is sovereign in it all. And Satan has to go before him before Satan does anything. He has to get God's permission. So God allows Satan to take from Job, to take his possessions and to take his children's lives from him. Not only that, he also takes his servant's life. So, not just his children who he loves and cares for in his family, but he also takes the ability to prosper well in his business, and he takes that from him. For men in here in the room, God has knit within us this desire to lead our family well, to lead our future family well. In fact, God put man in the garden to work and to keep it. And if you notice, many men can get sidetracked with their work and take it to the extreme and neglect their family. But notice Job here. He stays consistent. He stays steady. And he works, but he also loves his family. And God continues to bless him. And even when God takes from him, he doesn't curse the Lord. God has rooted Job in who he is. And Job has rooted his trust in the Lord. It says that when God allowed Satan to go and to touch and to take from Job, that the Sabeans, who were probably from Arabia, attacked his servants. Then fire from heaven, and I was looking at some commentaries, and it says this fire that's mentioned that comes down from heaven was probably lightning or some type of storm. And it comes down and consumes the sheep and the servants. And then the Chaldeans, who were probably from Mesopotamia, came in to finish off the servants. Then there's a great wind. It's probably a tornado or some type of tremendous storm. Made the roof of the house that his children were in collapse. And we see Job reacts. What does it say at the bottom of chapter 1? It says that he tears his robe. Well, why would he tear his robe? Well, in that culture, that expressed major grief. That expresses major grief. And then he shaves his head, which symbolized the longing for personal glory. Someone's head, even today, with a full head of hair on it, there is a certain level of dignity that a man has when he has a full head of hair. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have all these hair products out there trying to regrow their hair. Because men enjoy having their hair and being able to comb it and do whatever they want to it. You know? I was trying not to point you out. But I knew you were going to say something. And what does he do after he tears his robe and shaves his head? He falls to the ground. Bless you. And he worships God. In the midst of it all, he worships God. He gets on his hands and knees in the midst of tragedy. When tragedy strikes his life, he gets on the ground and worships God. And Job recognizes that God is in complete and sovereign control of his life. Again, I've shared this example before, but some of us might feel like we are driving this figurative car, which is our life. Really, all we're doing is we're in the back seat with the kiddie wheel, pretending we're driving the car. God is the one in the front seat driving this vehicle of life. And so Job recognizes this, that God is in complete and utter control. And although he doesn't understand the tragedy, he acknowledges who God is. And he acknowledges that God created him and God can take anything from him. But God is careful, and God is thoughtful, and God is supremely wise in every decision he makes. Job doesn't sin, and he acknowledges that. He acknowledges God is sovereign. And he doesn't turn from God or charge God with a wrong accusation.